Straight ahead on CCX News, a closer look at teens violating curfew, why the problem isn't as easy as it seems. Plus, the state of the cities, what local mayors are focused on next. And a field of dreams in Brooklyn Center and the planning underway to make it happen. CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Tonight, we are getting a clearer picture of teens who may be breaking curfew.
As Delane Cleveland explains, curfew violators aren't necessarily out to cause trouble.
Minneapolis and the surrounding suburbs are vibrant places, even in the middle of winter. But late at night, after many businesses have closed, anyone younger than 18 without adult supervision could be in violation of Hennepin County's curfew law.
I was picked up by the police last summer. I was downtown around 11 p.m. on a weeknight, which was after curfew.
Yet rather than getting a ticket, this Minneapolis teenager named LZ took part in a diversion program, which was the main focus of a news conference organized by Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman.
They're hanging out. They can be victims of all sorts of things, including robberies, assaults.
But instead of going into the juvenile justice system,
we wanted curfew violations to be handled in a more meaningful way.
Freeman's office partnered with a Minneapolis-based nonprofit called The Link, which provides support to Twin Cities youth.
We definitely see youth coming in from the suburban areas, and curfew is definitely an issue within all of the different cities across the metro.
Beth Holger Ambrose is the Link's executive director.
We see a lot of youth, frankly, out there past curfew because they're experiencing homelessness or poverty or neglect, and so they literally don't have anywhere to go.
During the 6-month pilot program, the county attorney's office handled 313 cases of curfew violations. 2/3 were deferred to the Link.
So we can help them get connected to housing, back into school, help them getting their basic needs met, mental health counseling and things like that.
The hope is that by providing that support, kids can stay out of the justice system.
None of these young people that are out violating curfew are bad kids. They're amazing, they're resilient, they're smart, and they have goals for themselves.
Most of the kids in the curfew diversion program come from Minneapolis, but since the program started, 8 have come from Brooklyn Park and Maple Grove, 7 from Plymouth, and 4 from Brooklyn Center. Mike and Alex, as of June 1st, when the program first started, all of the youth found past curfew are being diverted to the Link. That's unless they had pending juvenile delinquency petitions in court.
All right.
So, thank you, Delane.
Thank you, Delane. It is likely that we will never know the cause of a house fire Wednesday morning in Brooklyn Center. The Brooklyn Center Fire Department has ruled the cause of the fire undetermined, though they do believe it may have started in the basement. Everyone got out of the home on James Avenue safely Wednesday morning, but the fire, water, and smoke damage is so extensive that the home will likely be a complete loss. The Red Cross is providing assistance.
Brooklyn Center police are investigating an armed robbery in a residential neighborhood. It happened Wednesday morning shortly before 8 in the 2000 block of Ericon Drive. Police say a woman was robbed at gunpoint in her garage. At this point, Brooklyn Center police believe the crime may be random, and they also say no other similar incidents have occurred in that area. The Hennepin County Crime Lab and the Minneapolis Canine Unit assisted in the case. The cities in the Northwest Metro have seen increased development and better transportation options in the past year.
Those two topics dominated this year's North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce State of the Cities address. Reporter Shannon Slatton explains. Shannon?
Mayors of Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, Osseo, and Maple Grove touted a surge in business development in 2016, and they predict a rosy development year ahead.
A lot of people in Brooklyn Park went somewhere else to buy stuff, and I think that day is coming slowly more to an end. Not that they're not going to leave the city to buy, but you're going to see a lot of Brooklyn Park money stay in Brooklyn Park because there are other retail outlets that are going to be coming forth this year.
Mayor Jeff Lundy pointed to transportation projects like the future light rail line, as well as the completion of Highway 610, as reasons why Brooklyn Park has had a 17% increase in the number of jobs added since 2009. But predicting development along Highway 610 hasn't always been predictable. City officials didn't think they would see the south side of 610 develop faster than the north side. In Maple Grove, Highway 610 has made some traffic headaches worse.
I-94 now is backed up to the Fish Lake interchange, and we are working again with MnDOT, talking about making sure that maybe we could add a fourth full lane from Maple Grove to Rogers, which has been needed for many years, and we're hopeful to try and push that forward this year.
Mayors of Osseo and Brooklyn Center also spoke about increased interest in vacant spaces and future construction projects. All projects that are a far cry from where cities were during the recession just 8 years ago.
It continues to make us very optimistic compared to where we were in 2008. I think some of us remember how horrible that year was.
Pushing farther ahead to 2018 when the Super Bowl comes to Minneapolis, Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center have 3 hotels going up that hope to be finished in time for the big game. Mike?
All right, thanks, Shannon. A Maple Grove lawmaker says now is the time for the Minnesota legislature to act on Real ID.
January 22nd in 2018, if we're not Real ID compliant with our licenses, then you cannot fly commercially with a regular driver's license.
Republican Representative Dennis Smith says Minnesota is one of a handful of states not compliant with the Real ID federal mandate. If it's not passed by 2018, anyone boarding a plane would have to provide either a passport or an enhanced driver's license in order to fly. And Smith says his bill gives consumers a choice when they go to renew their driver's license, either opt in or get a Real ID or choose to stick with the current driver's license system.
If they want to not have a Real ID, they don't have to. If they want to fly with a passport, they can keep the current license that they have today, and then they don't need to have their license be federal Real ID compliant.
In committee hearings, the issue has become partisan as some want to use the Real ID platform to address driver's licenses for undocumented workers. Smith believes the legislature should take that issue up separately.
In Brooklyn Center, there are big plans to overhaul a Little League baseball field. A $100,000 grant from the Hennepin County Youth Sports Program is getting the planning started. Councilmember Dan Ryan says the idea is to create a ball field complex in Centennial Park that could host state and local tournaments. 3 fields to the west of Shingle Creek would be improved with dugouts, irrigation, and scoreboards. The total cost is estimated at $1.6 million. Officials hope additional grants and private donations will pay for most of it. Still ahead, we head to West Lutheran High School in Plymouth to meet this week's standout student.
And later in sports, Terry Tuma drops by for his weekly ice fishing tip.
But first, teeth chattering cold on Friday, then we thaw out starting this weekend. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. As the baby boom generation continues to age, you might think a career in healthcare would be a good bet.
And Neil Persley introduces us to a standout student who is combining his fascination with science with his desire to help people.
I think anything that he can be working around people and working with people is going to be perfect for him.
Meet West Lutheran High senior Sheldon Wohlman.
I've even encouraged him to be a teacher. I think he'd be great at that because he just mentors kids well.
I'm involved in a lot of extracurriculars at West Lutheran. I do basketball and baseball and also drama. I work hard for academics and I push myself to do the best I can.
Coach and math instructor Steve Jensen first got to know Sheldon while coaching him on the basketball court, but this year has also been his mathematics instructor.
Just a kid that works hard and wants to succeed, listens very well, which is great as a coach to have that, and a great leader.
I'm intending to become a pharmacist major. I would like to go to Wisconsin Lutheran College potentially. But outside of that, I'm just really looking forward to getting into a pharmacy field.
I was curious what Sheldon thought was the biggest challenge to his generation.
Not getting distracted by like social media and getting caught up in like gossip and other stuff like that instead of just like focusing on what you need to get done and like what you need to work on.
Considering his schedule, I think he knows what he's talking about. For now, Sheldon is squeezing every last bit of experience he can out of a school he says he'll dearly miss.
It's kind of like a family feel. Like I know everyone's first name, last name. I'm friends with everyone. I can talk to everyone like comfortably, which is really nice. I like that a lot better. It's a closer knit community.
In Plymouth, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Sheldon and the rest of West Lutheran wrap up their first semester today. He said he is looking forward to the continuation of winter basketball and his final season of baseball in the spring. Coming up, a more than decade-old tradition returns to Maple Grove.
But first, the Champlin Park girls basketball team is on a good roll this season. John Jacobson has that and more next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Champlin Park's girls basketball team played in a section final last season, losing to Park Center. As Jay Wilcox reports, the Rebels are putting together an impressive season so far this winter.
The wins are piling up for the Champlin Park girls basketball team. The Rebels are 10-3 coming into Thursday night and having a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm super excited. I mean, we're 10-3 right now, which is a great record. I don't think we were even that good last year, and I'm super excited to see what the rest of the season has in store for us. We have a lot of new players on our team this year, especially with how much we lost last year in our senior class. And these amazing group of girls have just been pushing it to the limit and just been progressing every single practice and every single game, so I couldn't be more proud of them.
When asked their keys to success this winter, the Rebels have a different take on what's made them big winners.
We're really focusing on our motion offense, moving without running a set, and just playing basketball how we know how to play basketball, getting open shots, layups to the basket. Mostly on the defensive end. Our defense creates our offense and our energy on the court. We're so aggressive on the defensive end. When we're pressing, we're getting up, forcing turnovers, and then in the half court, we are just all over the place. So that's what I feel like is our main strength this year.
Champlin Park did take it on the chin in their first big test in the North Division of the Northwest Suburban Conference, losing big at Centennial a month ago. This coming Tuesday is their next big challenge in the division when they play at second-ranked Elk River.
Elk River, they've got some good players. I mean, Gabby Hawk right now is averaging over 30, and for the past 2 years, we're 0-4 for them, so it'd be really nice to get a win.
The Champlin Park boys are undefeated and ranked #1, and the girls are excelling too. It's a good winner for basketball fans at Champlin Park. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The Rebels host Osseo tonight, Thursday, before that big game at Elk River next Tuesday. Maple Grove's boys hockey team is also playing well. The Crimson enter Thursday night with a 9-3 record. They've won 3 straight, including a clutch road victory over Centennial last Thursday. It was a good win to get in what's been an enjoyable season.
We're a really close group. We've all played together before, and then got a couple sophomores that we've added to this team, and we've all skated together before, so we're a really close group. We really knew that this year, with the opportunity that we had to make the most of it because it's our last time playing together. So,
with that veteran team, Maple Grove is shooting for conference and section honors this season. The Northwest Suburban North Division is a gauntlet of strong teams. After tests against Andover and Anoka Thursday and Saturday this week, the Crimson have 2 big home games next week against Elk River and Blaine.
I know those are both good teams, and we're going to be battling every game against those guys. It's a fight for the conference and for the section, so every game is huge against those guys.
We kind of get into the gauntlet of some pretty high-ranked teams in terms of Elk River, Blaine, Hill Murray, Centennial again. Yeah, we got to be ready to go. That looked like a set play.
Andover and Maple Grove face off at 7 o'clock Thursday night at Maple Grove Community Center. Matching your fishing line to the type of fish you're trying to catch is the topic of this week's CCX Sports Ice Fishing Tip. Here's Sherry Tuma with more.
Last tip we talked about line calling. Another big question today is, what poundage of test line should I use? Why is it so important? Match the poundage of test line to the species that you're pursuing, and of course also the lure. Generally speaking, for crappies and bluegills, I use 2, 3, and possibly 4. Generally speaking, staying with 3-pound test line. And do try to use a line that stretches somewhat. However, you can use a braided line like micro ice, and this has no stretch, but this is again where we need that soft tip rod, many times a little bit longer rod to absorb the shock. The line does not fight the fish. The rod fights the fish. And what we need to do then is add a section of monofilament line, maybe 2 feet, maybe 3 feet, depending on the type of lure we're using, the species we're pursuing. And then also the other question that's asked, how about colored line? Generally speaking, stay away from colored line. Your fluorescent lines, your chartreuses, your oranges, fish do see it. So try to stay with your smoke colors, your grays, your browns, your greens, and that's going to be the most beneficial for you. And do consider using a line that does stretch. Now, fluorocarbon becoming extremely popular, has some stretch factor, not a lot. Here again, depending on the situation, you may want to add a monoliter. Just give it a try. Pay attention to your line, the poundage you test and so forth. It rates the drag resistance too. And be sure to do it next week right here.
And that's it for sports. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, something fresh and delicious in Maple Grove.
And we'll take you to a place to perk up your senses when we come back. Well, if there is a place to break out of the winter doldrums, the Maple Grove Indoor Farmers Market should do it for you.
That's true. It is kicking off its 12th season, and reporter Sonia Goins visited the Maple Grove Community Center, where more than 20 vendors are showcasing their goods.
Mike and Alex, I've got the best assignment of the day. There are plenty of good eats here at the Maple Grove Farmers Market. I'm joined here with Kristen Weigel. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I see you guys, do you have produce here even though it's wintertime, right?
We do, yes. So what we say is that we're a vendor-grown, vendor-made market. So everything you see here at the indoor market and at our outdoor market is made or grown by the folks behind the tables.
And you guys have 20 vendors, and you've got everything from barbecue sauce to honey makers?
That's correct, yeah. So we have a great, we posted today, you can come on down and meet farmers, bakers, beekeepers, cheesemongers, fishermen, all kinds of folks who are growing and making the food that you buy here at the farmers market.
And you also have a little bit of entertainment here too, right?
We do, yes. Every week, whether it's at the indoor market or at our outdoor market, we do have live music. And we try to make it fun with some other things too. We've got free recipes, we've got a customer loyalty program to reward the folks who take that extra step to come out and be a part of our market community.
Now this event goes on until 6 o'clock today, but when is the next indoors farmers market?
So at this point in the year, the indoor farmers market is monthly. We're on the second Thursday of each month here inside the Maple Grove Community Center. So our next date is actually February 9th.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Mike and Alex, I'm going to eat this pretzel and send it back to the studio.
Sounds good. Thanks much, Sonia. For more information on the farmers market, you can check out our website. It is ccxmedia.org.
She's going to eat the whole thing.
She is. She's not bringing any back. That's all for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you back here again Friday, starting at 4.